Good morning, dear student. Today we are going to learn a very essential topic in organic chemistry, and these important terms and concept must be known to study or to acquire basic concept in chemistry. Actually, what makes the organic chemistry so versatile and so diverse and complicated in nature with respect to other elements in the periodic table? Carbon, an essential element for biological kingdom, is a group 4 member in the periodic table, and with respect to its general electronic configuration, it seems to be a bivalent element. But naturally, all the organic compounds found to be tetravalent. The question arises, in spite of its ground state electronic configuration, it is 2 electrons in its outermost shell. How can it become tetravalent? The driving force of a chemical reaction, we know, in light of chemical bond or in view of octet theory, all the elements in the universe are subject to chemical reaction to achieve inert gas electronic configuration, either in case of duplet configuration or octet like electronic configuration. It is only the hydrogen gas that achieve its duplet electronic configuration or helium gas type electronic configuration. So anyway, carbon in its excited state, the 2s2 electron get unpaired, and ultimately there are 4 number of electrons in its valence shell, and this 4 number of electrons in its valence shell is responsible for its tetravalency. Now question arises, so how can carbon will exhibit either it covalency or electrovalency? Carbon with atomicity 6, so 6 electrons is controlled by 6 number of protons. It has to release 4 number of electrons to achieve its duplet. So on release of 4 number of electrons, it seems to be very difficult, and you know, dear friends, the atom never survives. And once again, if it's captured 4 number of electrons, then it can't control over tetranegative anion or 4 extra electron is not accommodated, because carbon is devoid of any additional vacant d orbital. So it seems to be very easy to participate in covalency or share pair of electron. And you know, dear friends, this sharing pair of electrons by dint of covalency is the base, makes it very versatile, diverse and so complicated. And because of this covalency, carbon atom exhibit a special type of property. This is generally known as the catenation property or self-association property. Not only carbon elements, there are also very few examples, they also exhibit their catenation property. These are phosphorus, sulfur, and in certain times selenium also may exhibit these types of catenation property, but they are not so complicated like that of carbon elements. So anyway, If carbon elements participate in chemical bonding by utilizing its 1 s orbital and 3 p orbital, but a s orbital being a spherical, and we know the sphere has a minimum surface area, then how can it participate in chemical bonding? And other 3 p orbitals also dumbbell or very lengthy. So in general condition, if the carbon participate by tetravalency or by sharing, then there must be 3 lengthy bonds and 1 short bonds. And we know, in light of bond strength, the lengthy bonds are generally very weak and short bonds are generally strong. But here both the lengthy bonds makes it weak, because the s orbital, when participate in chemical bonding, its overlapping zone is very less, and in case of the p orbital it is very lengthy. So one can expect that the carbon molecules or the carbon's compounds is very reactive. If the carbon species become very reactive, the biology kingdom never survive. But practically found that animal kingdom or the arena of organic chemistry is exceptionally very stable. So how this can be achieved? So these drawbacks can be explained in light of a new concept in chemistry, hybridization. The concept of hybridization implies the intermixing of several orbitals. They are energetically overlapping and symmetrically same, and produces a set of orbitals with equivalent in energy, equivalent in overlapping power, and equivalent symmetry, and make the all bonds very strong. Based on the nature of mixing, these hybrid orbitals are classified into several categories. For carbon here, d orbital never participate in intermixing. So another day we will discuss about the prosperity of d orbital intermixing. So carbon generally exhibit sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridization here. Now let's have a discussion about the concept of sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridization. So first discuss about sp3 hybridization. 1 s orbital and 3 pure p orbitals intermixed such that they can produce 4 set of orbitals with equal length, equal bond strength and symmetrically equivalent to produce very strong sigma bond. For example, methane molecule. The carbon utilized its 4 valence shell electrons with 4 hydrogen atoms, and their affinities is protected. The bond affinity of CH bond is projected along the vertices regular tetrahedron with producing a bond angle 109 degree 28 minutes and with equal bond strength. And because of head to head overlap, the CH sigma bonds are very strong. So the sp3 hybridized orbital geometry is regular tetrahedron. Then come to the point for second case, sp2 hybridization. In case of sp2 hybridization, out of 3 pure p orbitals, 2 is utilized for hybridization purpose, and the remaining 1 p orbital remain pure, perpendicular to the sigma molecular skeleton, and if they are energetically, symmetrically and overlapping with respect to overlapping power become equivalent, then they participates in lateral or pi bond formation. And the role of pi bond is very essential to study very clearly the chemical properties of organic molecules, because owing to these pi bonds, the chemical properties of alkene and alkyne found to be very diverse and complicated. So, as the one pure orbital remain perpendicular to the sigma molecular skeleton, and other two p orbitals and one s orbital, because of intermixing, they produces three set of orbitals, and they are projected along a trigonal planar and remain with the bond angle 120 degree. You know, dear friends, the sp2 hybridized sigma skeleton is very stronger in comparison to the sp3 hybridized sigma skeleton because of its extra s character. If we compare the percentage of s character between sp3 and sp2, we found that percentage of s character is very high in case of the sp2 hybridized. So let's discuss about the examples of sp2 hybridized organic molecules. Ethylene or any kind of alkene species are sp2 hybridized species, and they remain in planar trigonal geometry. And if we consider the probable molecular strain, so the sp3 hybridized species suffer from internal angle strain, front strain and back strain if instead of hydrogen atoms, several big atoms or big groups like propyl groups or methyl groups is connected with the 4 carbon bonds projected along the vertices of a regular tetrahedron. So sp2 hybridized organic molecules are generally devoid of strain in comparison to the sp3 hybrid orbitals. Now let's discuss about sp hybridization. One s orbital and one pure p orbital participate in intermixing and produces two set of orbitals. And in comparison to sp3 and sp2, the sp hybridized sigma skeleton is very strong, and dear friends, you never can destroy it. And other pure p orbitals, two set of p orbitals, particularly remaining perpendicular to the molecular plane, participate in lateral overlap and produces two set of pi bonds. And owing to these pi bonds, pi electron clouds, it seems to be very reactive. So the bond angle and the geometry of sp hybridized chemical species is 180 degree and linear in nature. Generally, alkyne species are found to be sp hybridized with cylindrical symmetry. Now question arises, in comparison to sp2 and sp hybridized organic species, which one you consider very reactive? So it seems to be very complicated. So please give answer in your comment box in the video. Do you consider out of sp2 and sp3 hybridized organic species, which seems to be very reactive? Then next time we will discuss about it, the comparison of chemical reactivity of sp2 and sp3 and sp hybridized organic species. So anyway, so because of the cylindrical symmetry of alkyne molecules, the pi electrons are almost covered by one set of pi electrons is covered by or shielded by other. But in case of the sp2 hybridized alkene molecules, due to the planar structures and high availability, it seems to be the alkyne species are very reactive. So anyway, but this reactivity seems to be very complicated if we consider the hydrogenation reaction. Then mode of reactivity of alkene is very high. Alkyne is very high in comparison to the halogenation reaction. But if you consider the halogenation reaction or addition reaction, then it is reactivity of alkene is greater than that of alkyne species. Now let's have a comparison of acidity of alkenes and alkynes. On increasing the percentage of S character, the electronegativity of sigma bonded carbon is increased. Then why the electronegativity of carbon atom is increased? This can be simply explained on the basis of the electronic configuration or electron cloud localization surrounding a sigma skeleton. In case of sp hybridized orbital, only one p orbital and one s orbital participate in chemical reaction, but other pure p orbital being very far from the sigma bonded carbon or a sigma skeleton, and we know pi electrons are very polarizable and easily available for reaction purpose. As the carbon feels some positive character, the CH bond strength become increased and carbon atom withdraw electron from the CH bond, and that makes it a protogenic bond. And the extent of protogenicity or the extent of induction of positive charge for carbon is very high in case of the alkyne species. That is why acetylene is very stronger acid than ethylene, and practically found on treatment with silver nitrate with acetylene, it precipitated out, or with copper sulfate solution, it precipitated out red or brown color precipitate of copper acetylite. But such types of reaction never happens with the ethylene or alkene type species. So this is also a chemical distinction between alkenes and alkynes that contains a terminal hydrogen atoms, that is 1 propyne, 1 butane, etc. So now let's discuss about the probable reactivity of alkenes and alkynes. As there is a pi electron concentration surrounding say sigma skeleton, and with respect to the availability, they exhibit versatile and very complicated type organic reactions. And owing to this weaker nature of pi bonds, these molecules are very photosensitive, and in presence of a certain types of or special type of reagent, they exhibit chemical reaction and offers several derivatives of carbon. So anyway, this was the basic structures and essential concepts, that is hybridizations and other terms. Dear friends, it is almost clarified. Now once again, let's have summarize it. What today we learned. Number 1, the carbon is a group 4 elements, and generally it has to exhibit bivalent, but practically it exhibit tetravalent, because carbon in excited state, the 2 s orbital electrons are unpaired, and the valency exhibited by carbon chemistry is covalency, never ionic valency. And the nature of bond formation in case of the carbon containing organic species, it never produces a equivalent bond if the concept of hybridization is not considered. So hybridization concept, it is a concept of intermixing of set of pure p orbitals to produce energetically, symmetrically and overlapping set of orbitals that are equal in strength, equal in geometry and equal in bond angle, and generally devoid of any kinds of strain. Now if we want to discuss about the bond strength of the sigma skeleton, then it is very clear that sp hybridized sigma skeleton bond is very strong in comparison to sp2 and sp3. With respect to the reactivity, chemical reactivity of sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridized, it is sp hybridized organic species if we consider the hydrogenation reaction. But if we consider the halogenation reaction, then it is sp2 hybridized ethylene, and so on and so forth. To discuss more question and answer, then the concept will be clear. Now it is my earnest request, dear students, have some more ideas or what we skipped here, so write on the comment box section. Please like, share and make comments. And another earnest request, dear students, please subscribe my channel. So thank you, dear students, for your kind attention and your great patience ultimately to attend the lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.